channel. I'm Ryan and this is Allie. Today we're making Nightmare Before Christmas wreaths inspired by the Disney Damsels and DreamItDIY. We'll link their videos in the description box below so you can see how their finishing product turned out. So, we are making Sally, Jack, and Oogie Boogie. The things you'll need is a foam head, or a foam ball for the head, red yarn for Sally, a wreath, foam wreath, a red pen, black pen. The last thing you'll need is felt in the colors of Sally's dress. Moving on to Jack. The first thing you will need for Jack is white string yarn, black yarn, a foam head, a wreath shape, white felt, and black felt. Okay, so we are also doing a yarn wrapped wreath for Oogie Boogie. We will need black, green, and burlap felt to make Oogie Boogie. Okay guys, so the first thing you guys will need to do is cut out patches in the colors of Sally's dress. Alrighty, so our next step is to get some glue. I'm using spray glue, and we're gonna glue the patches on, but we gotta head outside to do that. Alrighty guys, so we are going to glue them right now. So just gotta put it down, spray. So after you have sprayed it, put it on the wreath.
Alright guys, so while Ryan finishes working on that outside, I'm going to take you inside and show you how to get started on the yarn wrapping for our Jack wreath. How do you open yarn? We'll start with the black because I already found the end of that one. Alright guys, so this process is actually going to be really simple. I'm going to show you the first couple steps, but tedious. So it'll take a long time to yarn wrap all the way around all of these. So we're going to go ahead and get started, show you how to do a couple of them, and we'll come back to you when it's all done. For Jack Skellington, like we talked about, we're going to do alternating colors of black and white. And then when we go over and do our Oogie Boogie one, we're going to do the same process, and we're going to use alternating colors of black and green. Alright guys, so we're just going to lay down a simple line of hot glue. Alright, and then we'll just go ahead and stick our end of our yarn right in that line. I did get the cool to touch hot glue, but it's still a little warm. Once you've got it glued down and started, you're just going to take the yarn and wrap it through and through. You want to keep the yarn fairly close to the ball. That way you don't get it all knotted with itself. Alright guys, so once you've got the width done of the first color that you want to have, you're going to move on to the second color, which for Jack Skellington is going to be white. And you're going to just do the same process. Lay down a bead of hot glue and go ahead and start your yarn in that. And start wrapping. So as you can see, it's a pretty simple process from here. It's just getting your way through it. I suggest having the Nightmare Before Christmas on, having a seat on the couch, and just wrapping away while watching the movie. One thing I would suggest is making sure that you're wrapping from the front side versus the back side. So the back side is where you have your glue, but you want to watch yourself wrapping from the front side, the side that's going to be facing out, so you can make sure that you're nice and tight where you are laying down the rows of the yarn, and you can't see any of the green of your wreath through it.
Alrighty, so the next step is to take a black paint pen or puffy paint and go over the lines and do stitching. So I'll show you guys a few and then, so go right here. You want to make sure to keep your pen up and like straight up and down. There. Then you do one. Another line. Okay guys, so the next step for Sally is to paint her head. So I'm going to put some acrylic blue paint on a paper plate, like so. And I put this chopstick in there so it's easier to hold it or paint it. And then I dip my paintbrush in.
our next step on our Sally is to give her a little bit of hair. So we're just taking some red yarn here, measuring it from the center of her head down as long as we want it. To help with this, I put Sally up on, this is like a cup from the zoo. Once I've measured one piece, then I'm going to go ahead and use that piece to measure all the rest of the pieces for Sally. Okay, we're heading on over to our glue gun so we can start gluing Sally's hair on. Just going to lay a bead of glue down where we're going to start putting her hair. I'm going to grab one of the first pieces of yarn and put it on. And we'll keep moving along with all of the pieces of yarn. One thing I did was I drew a line right down the center of Sally's head before I started gluing the yarn on. That just gave me something to follow as I was putting the yarn on her head. To reach the back of Sally's head, I'm taking one bead of glue and putting it kind of in an upside down U shape. And then I'm going to take one longer piece of red yarn and glue it in that U shape. And there we have it. Sally has a full head of red long locks. I'm going to set her back up here on my stand, and the last step to get Sally fully ready, we're going to turn her around and give her just a little trim in the back to even up all of her hair. Okay, for this next step, I am cutting out Jack's bat bow tie. So we're just going to cut out the wings. I just put two pieces of black felt together so that when I cut it out, I've got two pieces that are the same size. That'll make the two sides of the wings, and then we'll go ahead and cut out a head. Next, we're going to paint on some details. We're going to put two dots with some white paint on the eyes of the bat. And then along with Ryan's help, we'll do just kind of some uneven dashes along the wings. pretty flowers out of the felt. So for this first flower, we're just going to need a circle. So we went ahead and just found a DVD. We used that to trace the circle. You could use anything, a cup or a mug or something that's the perfect circle with the size that you're looking for. I've got both pieces of felt together here, so once I am ready to cut it out, I can cut them both out together. Once we have our circles cut out, we're gonna start cutting in a spiral pattern. Starting from the outside, we're gonna slowly work our way all the way in, trying to cut even rows in the spiral until we get to the center. And this is how we're gonna make our first flower for our wreath. Now that we're all done cutting out the spiral, we're gonna start gluing it together in order to form the flower. I'm just putting a little bit of glue at a time, and pinching it in the middle, and then starting to wrap it around itself until it forms a flower. Okay, for our second type of flower, we're going to need the black and white felt again. And we're just going to fold it over so we have maybe 2 inches, 2.5 inches width, and cut along the strip. Okay, next we're going to take one of our pieces of felt and we'll lay down a bead of glue onto the bottom edge of the first strip. Next, you'll fold it up. You're making kind of like a tube out of your black felt. And then we're going to move on and we'll do the same thing to the white. So we have 2 tubes, one of white and one of black. And then we're going to glue the 2 together. After you have your 2 strips together, you're going to cut part way down, right about to where the glue is on the strips, all the way down. For our final step here on this flower, we're going to start to roll it until it forms a flower. So you'll just need to put a little strip of glue and then start rolling. So you'll just roll a little bit, go ahead and add a little more glue and keep rolling. You want to make sure to keep it nice and even along the bottom edge and roll as tightly as you can. you guys, our final step here is to just glue all of our pieces onto the wreath, and then we will be all done with Jack. Okay guys, we are on to our final wreath, which is going to be Oogie Boogie. You can see in the background there we did the yarn wrapping in the green and black on the wreath, and now we're just taking a piece of burlap fabric and freehand drawing the shape of Oogie Boogie. Once we're done drawing him, we're going to cut out the two pieces together. We're going to use some hot glue to stitch the two sides of Oogie Boogie together. Once we're done with that, we're going to fill him with some fiberfill stuffing. Our next step for Oogie Boogie is to draw on his details. So I'm just taking a black paint pen, and you can see I've already colored on his eyes, and then we're going to go along the edges and draw little marks for his stitching. Okay, now we've glued Oogie Boogie onto the wreath. And what would Oogie Boogie be without all of his insect friends? Here Ryan's going to hot glue on some snakes and spiders that we got out of a pack at the Dollar Tree. The girls and I had a blast putting these together, and you just need to put some hangers and get them on your wall.